The fighter shoved the single father so hard that his coffee flew across the pavement and shattered against the gym wall. Everyone nearby stopped moving. The man who had been pushed didn't react with anger. He simply looked down at the broken cup, then toward his little daughter waiting beside the car. The arrogant fighter smiled, believing he had just humiliated another weak father. But he had made one enormous mistake. He had put his hands on a man who had spent years learning how to remain calm when everyone else was panicking. He had no idea the quiet mechanic in front of him was a former Navy SEAL. And before the afternoon was over, the fighter would discover that the most dangerous person in the parking lot wasn't the loudest one. It was the man who had every reason to fight, but desperately wanted peace. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that real strength means protecting people instead of intimidating them, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, leave a comment, and subscribe to Dad's Soul Diaries. Sometimes the quietest person in the room carries the biggest story, and sometimes the strongest person is the one who chooses not to show his strength. His name was Ronan Mercer, a 37-year-old single father who owned a small automotive repair shop on the east side of town. To most people, Ronan was simply the guy with oil on his hands and a faded blue pickup truck. He worked long hours, kept his prices fair, and had a reputation for helping people who couldn't afford expensive repairs. His 10-year-old daughter, Wren, often spent afternoons at the shop after school, sitting at a small desk in the office and drawing pictures while her father worked. Ronan had built that quiet life deliberately. Years earlier, his world had looked completely different. He had served as a Navy SEAL, spending much of his 20s and early 30s in places he rarely mentioned. His work had required discipline, patience, physical endurance, and the ability to remain calm when situations became dangerous within seconds. He had lost friends. He had carried memories home that he couldn't explain to anyone who hadn't been there. Eventually, he realized he didn't want his daughter growing up believing that violence was the definition of strength. So he left. He became a mechanic. He bought a modest house. He raised Wren. And he learned how to live an ordinary life. Ronan never told customers about his military career. He didn't hang medals in his office. He didn't wear veteran hats or tell war stories. When people asked about the small scar beneath his left ear, he simply smiled and changed the subject. Wren knew only that her father had served in the Navy. She didn't know the details. She didn't need to. To her, he was just Dad. The trouble began at a local fitness center where Ronan had recently started taking Wren for beginner self-defense classes. Wren was shy and had recently been bullied at school. She wanted to learn how to feel more confident, and Ronan believed the right instructor could teach her discipline without teaching her cruelty. The instructor was a popular fighter named Zane Holloway. Zane was 28, muscular, charismatic, and extremely talented. He had won several regional fighting tournaments and had built a large social media following. People recognized him wherever he went. Unfortunately, Zane had begun believing his own reputation. He liked attention. He liked being feared. And he especially liked embarrassing people who couldn't fight back. During Wren's first class, she struggled with one of the exercises. Zane laughed when she lost her balance. Ronan noticed but didn't interfere. He wanted Wren to understand that mistakes were normal. After class, he encouraged her to try again next week. She did. For several weeks, things remained manageable. Then one afternoon, Zane saw Ronan waiting outside. He looked at Ronan's old pickup and made a joke about it. Ronan ignored him. The next day, Zane made another comment. Ronan ignored that too. The silence irritated Zane. He was accustomed to people responding to him. Ronan simply didn't care. One sunny afternoon, Ronan walked out of the fitness center carrying 2 coffees. Wren was standing near the truck, holding her backpack. Zane came through the front entrance with several friends. He saw Ronan. He smirked. He walked directly toward him. Zane accused Ronan of staring at him during training. Ronan said he wasn't interested in an argument. Zane stepped closer. He told Ronan that men like him needed to learn respect. Ronan calmly asked him to move aside because his daughter was waiting. Zane laughed. Then he shoved Ronan. The coffee flew from Ronan's hand. The cup hit the ground. Wren gasped. For 1 second, Ronan didn't move. He looked at the broken cup. Then he looked at his daughter. Something changed in his expression. Not anger. Something quieter. Something more serious. He told Wren to get inside the truck. She obeyed. Zane expected Ronan to swing. Instead, Ronan took a slow breath. He told Zane that he should leave. Zane laughed and shoved him again. This time, Ronan barely moved. Years of training had taught him how to absorb force without losing balance. Zane noticed. His smile disappeared slightly. He stepped forward again. Ronan told him one final time that he didn't want trouble. Zane threw a punch. Ronan moved. Not dramatically. Not violently. Just enough. The punch passed beside him. Ronan caught Zane's wrist, redirected his momentum, and brought him down onto the pavement with controlled precision. There was no unnecessary strike. No dramatic beating. Just complete control. Zane stared upward in shock. His friends didn't know what to do. Ronan released him immediately. He told him to stay down. Zane scrambled up, embarrassed. He demanded to know who Ronan thought he was. Ronan simply said that he was a father. That answer somehow made the situation more uncomfortable. Zane attacked again. Ronan stepped aside and stopped him almost instantly. This time, Zane felt something he had never expected to feel. Fear. Not because Ronan was bigger. He wasn't. Not because Ronan was younger. He wasn't. It was because Ronan moved with a calmness Zane had never encountered. There was no anger. No ego. No need to prove anything. Ronan knew exactly what he was doing. A security guard finally ran outside and ordered everyone to separate. Wren remained inside the truck, watching through the window. Ronan walked toward her. Zane shouted after him. He asked whether Ronan was some kind of professional fighter. Ronan stopped. He turned around. He said no. He had been something else. Later, the security footage was reviewed. The fitness center manager asked Ronan whether he had military training. Ronan hesitated. Then he admitted that he had served as a Navy SEAL. The manager stared at him. Zane overheard. His expression changed completely. He had spent years building a reputation around being dangerous. But now he had encountered someone who understood danger on a completely different level. Still, Ronan didn't celebrate. He didn't brag. He didn't tell anyone about his missions. He simply asked whether the security cameras had captured Zane shoving him first. They had. The manager suspended Zane. The incident could have ended there. But it didn't. Because Wren had been watching. That evening, she asked her father why he hadn't fought back harder. Ronan sat beside her on the porch. He told her that being able to hurt someone didn't mean you should. Wren asked whether he had been scared. Ronan smiled. He told her that everyone gets scared. The important thing is deciding what to do next. He explained that during his military career, fear had often been useful. It could tell you when something was wrong. But anger was different. Anger could make you careless. Wren listened carefully. Then she asked whether he missed being a SEAL. Ronan looked toward the sunset. He said he missed the people. He missed some of the friendships. But he didn't miss the danger. His life now had something he never had back then. A daughter waiting for him at home. That mattered more than anything. Meanwhile, Zane's world began falling apart. His sponsors heard about the incident. Some questioned whether he represented their brands properly. His followers mocked him online. But the hardest part wasn't losing his reputation. It was realizing that he had become exactly the kind of person he once claimed to hate. A bully. A man who used strength to make other people feel small. For several days, Zane stayed away from the gym. Then he went to Ronan's repair shop. He stood outside for nearly 20 minutes before entering. Ronan looked up from an engine. Zane apologized. It wasn't dramatic. He admitted that he had been arrogant. He admitted that he had enjoyed making people afraid. He admitted that he had crossed a line when he shoved Ronan in front of Wren. Ronan listened. Then he told Zane something that stayed with him. An apology wasn't proven by words. It was proven by what came afterward. Zane asked what he could do. Ronan told him to start by treating people with respect when nobody important was watching. Zane nodded. Over the following months, he changed slowly. He began volunteering at the fitness center. He helped beginners. He stopped humiliating people. When someone failed an exercise, he encouraged them instead of laughing. It wasn't easy. Old habits returned sometimes. But he kept trying. Wren noticed. One afternoon, she told Ronan that Zane seemed different. Ronan smiled. He said people could change if they were willing to be honest about who they had become. Eventually, Zane asked Ronan if he would teach him something.